Karen. And thank you so much to Zoom for recording everything. Yeah, thank you to everyone, just for, everything, particularly practice leaders and coordinators have done just to keep the space going while I've been away on tour. And I just got back this weekend. But heading out to Colorado at the end of the week, some of you are joining me there in the mountains to do Eco Dharma. So basically the retreat is free by now. It's just like we keep discounting it. Yeah, and that's because we just started promoting it like 3 months ago. So yeah, I know some of you are going to join me. So I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, it's been a wonderful time away. Just practicing with folks in Portugal and in Germany and in the UK. Some of you joined me on retreat in the UK. I'm very moved that so many of you actually flew from the United States to the UK to do a retreat. Some people, it's their first time in the UK, and only coming to do spring retreat. So that feels really special. But yeah, I'm back and happy to be back practicing with everyone. I wanted to just check in, just to get a sense how everyone is doing. Would anyone like to unmute and just like, just do just a short little check-in? I'm just curious how we're doing. What might you need as we begin our practice today? Or you can also put a reflection in the chat as well. See someone from Berlin, it's 1 o'clock in the morning in Berlin, I think. It was 1 a.m. Wow, yeah. Let's see. It's Miriam's birthday. Miriam Hall, happy birthday. And dealing with chronic illness, flare up. Yeah. Feeling the chronic catastrophe in Palestine. Overwhelmed again from activism. Struggling with energy, being dispersed, frazzled, tired. Some surgery, fatigue from surgery, heartbreak, and change. Yeah, what else leading into the heartbreak? Someone gave birth 5 months ago, working with accepting, practicing. Yeah. Anxious, loneliness. Trying to find my way in community in a new home.
Hi, Lama Rod.
Hello.
Sharon.
Sharon, how are you?
I'm never one to pass up an opportunity to ask for what I need. The my life feels chaotic and ungrounded, and
Yeah.
I'm okay. I was sitting in practice a couple of days ago and not feeling it. But I, in the moment, acknowledged that that was okay. It wasn't about how I was feeling, that regardless of how I feel, the practice sustains me. So I sit the practice when it feels good. I sit the practice when it feels bad and hard. And I sit the practice when I pretty much don't feel anything. And that's the way I was feeling a couple of days ago. But today, I had a very pleasant practice, but I'm learning that it doesn't matter how it feels,
Yeah.
and that my practice is my life. So when my life feels chaotic, that doesn't mean anything either. And I just continue to do what's in front of me to do. And I'm, part of the reason my life feels chaotic is I still have two houses, and so I'm in Durham right now, and I brought New Saints with me. Except I brought my second copy I bought to share, so it doesn't have all my notes, and I couldn't even find where I left off in it. So I was just kind of randomly reading through New Saints, which was a very nurturing experience for me today. So I want to share that to say where I am is confused and heartbroken and doing great.
Mhm. Thank you. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. I think that echoes so many people here um who are sharing, the confusion. And I just want to, also point out too the work of sitting through everything, practicing through the boredom, practicing through the confusion, right? And because the point isn't to figure out things in our practice, the point is to develop the capacity to hold everything. Both the joy and the boredom, the sadness and the gratitude, right? Just hold everything together and just be with everything as it arises. Um, and in the process, right, we're developing the capacity to respond to what needs to be responded to. I talk about the new saints, right? And so much of our response right now, feels brokenhearted. Uh, And this is one of the hardest practices is to witness and to, in many ways, hold this experience of helplessness. Um, There's moments like this and periods like this where we are reminded that samsara isn't supposed to work out for us, right? It's not this thing. Delusion doesn't, this expression of delusion isn't for us to kind of figure out, it's for us to transcend, right? It's for us to start getting clear. And as we get clear, we start choosing different experiences to invest in. And those experiences are spaciousness, this fluidity, is openness, is investing in understanding the illusion of everything. Um, and then, and the witnessing, yeah, there's so much happening, right, around the world, everywhere from Sudan and Haiti, and the Congo, Palestine, especially. And of course, there are many things happening in our communities that don't make the news, right? That no one knows about, but things happening on our block, right? You know, and it can feel overwhelming to respond to everything. And that overwhelmingness really begins to feed into this experience of exhaustion, right? And depletion, right? And this is when we have to come back to practices like Medicine Buddha to restore our capacity to hold, but to hold in order to respond to what needs to be responded to. Right? so much of our work in the coming years is really the work of grief. You know, we're grieving, and the more we resist the grieving, the more we find ourselves suffering. We're so terrified of letting our hearts fall open, right? But that's the only way to move forward, not just as individuals, but as a collective, right? Knowing that not everyone's going to make it. In these years that are coming, when we're in this period, but as we move, further into this period, there's a lot of people that won't survive, right? And it's not necessarily our fault, right? But there are people who, will somehow not, choose to do the work. They won't choose to do the work. Uh, and there will be more and more of this sense of separation, I think, between ourselves and others. Right. And I think we're already feeling it. And I've lost count of how many times people have asked me, what do I do when my loved ones don't want to do the work, don't choose to get free, right? And really the answer is like we hold space with deep care and we grieve, you know, um, how even the people that we love may not choose to do the work of liberation, of getting free, right? Of bringing about a new world, a more liberated future, right? There are things in the world that, they have to play themselves out, right? And what we are being asked to do is to show up and to witness and never forget, but to witness and to vow to do something different, right? We're being challenged, asked to really choose freedom now. And again, as we talked about many times before, and as I talk about in every space these days, is that at some point you're going to actually have to choose freedom. And so many people, so many practitioners haven't. So many people are in this for a good time. I'm not here for a good time. I know how to have a good time, and it's not practicing medicine Buddha on Monday nights. Right? So I'm not here to have a good time, right? I'm here to get free. I'm here to really experience the illusionary quality of the phenomenal world. I'm here to figure out the illusion of ego and self. I'm here to learn how to choose space over rigidity. I'm trying to learn how to hold space for my brokenheartedness and to understand that I'm not the only one that's brokenhearted or tired or frustrated, right? I'm here to be reminded that this is just one experience that's happening, right? Samsara is just one thing that's happening in the universe. It's not the totality of the universe. This is just something that I got distracted by. And now it's time for me to get undistracted and get back home, right? We're trying to get back home. This is not our home, right? We're trying to do something different, right? And this is to remember, to remember what we are. Eric, do you have a question?
I have a question I'd like to read that's been offered in the chat.
Ah,
How's that feel?
sure.
So I'm just confirming. Yes, Michaela sent this to everyone. um, so Michaela says, I have a question for Lama Rod, but I'm a little camera shy, so that's why I'm offering. In the practice, I am having sensations slash feelings surrounding the residue of lack of love.
Hmm.
Meeting the love that we conjure for medicine Buddha slash Chenrezig slash Antara. Lama Rod, do you have any advice for when you start to release this somatically? I know this is where I want to be, the goal of the practice. For a long time, I couldn't go there, even during our Tara practice. It is precisely the rage and shame that come out,
Yeah.
which is the heartbreak that Lama Rod speaks about.
Yeah.
Dot, dot, dot. Thank
Yeah.
you for the question, Michaela.
Yeah. Thank you, Michaela. And you know, you're exactly where you need to be, right? This is when we start digging into this kind of woundedness, which is, you know, yes, the residue from like the wounds of like conditional loving, you know, which all of us have survived conditional love, right? As a form of like harm against us, really. But this is, you know, these are the moments and experiences in our practice where things start getting, you know, dislodged, right? And so much of our response is offering space to what's coming up, right? And to give this energy also a channel, you know, to be expressed, to move, you know. So this is when we start, you know, walking on the earth barefoot, you know, and letting the earth like take, you know, take this energy. This is when we start dancing, right? This is when we start singing. This is when we let the tears go, right? And you're doing this not just for yourself, you're doing this for your ancestors as well. Like it's not just our pain, it's not just our discomfort, it's not our woundedness, just our individual woundedness. It is the woundedness, you know, of all the beings we come from, right? All the people we descend from. It's their pain as well. Um, so just it's in a way you can't take this personally, if that makes sense. When I say you can't take it personally, you can't, it's try not to say, oh, this is just my shit that's coming up, right? Think about this in terms of being a part of this continuum of beings, right? Whom you are grieving for and with as well.
I would just like to say that your earth touching practice has been invaluable in the process. I learned walking meditation from Thich Nhat Hanh's Sangha, and that's always been a very profound experience. So when I do that, I really access how the earth loves us unconditionally and pretty much gifts us abundantly every form of beauty that we happen to experience for free, non monetized. So when you bring that into the practice, that has helped provide a container to get to the difficult stuff or an antidote to the conditional love that you talk about.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you for your practice. And these are the really unglamorous experience of practice, right? And these are the moments of practice that really begin to test our resiliency, you know, as well. Um, just to sit with it, you know, just to sit with it, allowing things to come, taking care, tending to this discomfort, you know. Like you can't get free until you show up to everything, right? Even abolition as a political, like social project is about showing up, being present, telling the truth about what's happening. Right? And we do the same thing in our practice. Right? And it's a lot, you know. So not only you're doing this for ancestors, you're doing this for other beings, you're doing this also for so many of our community who don't have the capacity to do this labor for themselves, right? You know, and so very few of us are really like, we're taking on a lot of labor. We're trying to lift the collective, right? And this is why practicing in groups, right, is so powerful, because we get to combine our powers together and combine our practices and start lifting together. So we multiply each other's effort and impact, right? Yeah. Anything else before we get into practice? I will say, um, you know, this is hard to articulate. I think I've talked about this many times before, but it always comes out differently. But yeah, it's something about, we have to get to a point at some point in our practice where when samsara tells us what it is, we need to believe it. You know, um, I don't know where what else that would mean, but like it's anything is possible. Everything is possible. Everything is happening, right? What does that even mean? Like it means that the extremism that we're trying to come to terms with, right? The extremism of really beautiful, amazing things that happen in the world, and the other extreme of the really like brutal, unspeakable things that happen. Like both of these extremes and everything in between is happening at the same time, right? And because we're not aware of certain things doesn't mean that like it's not happening. And I think I have been very blessed in my practice to learn, well, to understand, to learn to understand that it's I've been blessed not to be so shocked anymore, if that's the way to say it. I get suffering and I get what we do to avoid suffering. That's not a mystery anymore to me, right? Um, And because that's not such a mystery, I think that it's easier to hold space, to be present to everything, and not be so distracted by everything, right? I don't know if that came out well enough, but it's just a collection of feelings emerging about practice.
سلام.
Uh-oh. Um, Maybe we'll get to it. There's something definitely that's trying to come through in terms of a teaching, but maybe it's actually in practice that we'll get to it. Yes, there's something about it's so there's something about getting to the point in our practice where we're like, okay, like this is it. Like that really kind of liberatory acceptance that says, okay, this is happening. Now what? Right. And this is where many of us are trying to get to. We're trying to get to the reality of things. But what keeps us from getting into the reality of things is the fear of the brokenheartedness, right? To get to the truth of things, we have to tend to the aversion, of feeling the thing itself, and the disappointment and the rage and the hopelessness and the shock of the things that we really struggle to hold space for. And that is what the Bodhisattva is doing. The Bodhisattva has processed the intensity of how they feel about something. And now they're just kind of in the truth of things. And that's what makes the Bodhisattva so incredibly impactful in liberation work, right? Because their energy is going into responding to what needs to be responded to instead of that energy being siphoned away into pushing away the feelings that we have about something, right? Like thinking about liberation and actually doing the work of liberation are two different things, right? Like thinking about the brokenheartedness is very different than experiencing the brokenheartedness. Right? And there's so much disembodiment here that we're confused and somehow thinking that just thinking about the suffering is actually doing something about it, right? And then when you tell people, no, you actually have to experience this, like you have to move through this. You're thinking about the suffering is just another layer, another barrier that actually keeps you from touching the suffering and experiencing it, right? And that's why I keep seeing with a lot of practitioners right now, you're thinking about practice, but that's not the practice. thinking about the work isn't the work, right? You have to do more than just love Jesus right now. Like, you need to become Jesus. And that's where, and and the same thing with Buddhists, it's like you have to let go of thinking that the Buddha was this extraordinary, like, special person. He was, yes, he attained complete enlightenment, absolutely, but he didn't do anything that you can't do. Right? In the same way, Jesus, like that's and I guess what this is really all just pointing towards is the experience itself. It's like not thinking about it, but doing it, living it, experiencing, moving through it. Right. So everyone's just kind of hovering above the thing itself, but they're not with the thing, right? And that's what we're trying to do in our practice. We're trying to like open to everything that's arising so that we can actually get to the truth of things, which is, well, basically emptiness and space. You can't get to that if you're always pushing away the illusion of everything. I think I keep saying the same thing over and over again in different language, but right. But let's just practice. Let's just get into the practice and see what happens. Like, we're not trying to make ourselves at home, right? This is just an experience that we're passing through. This isn't home. The point isn't to get comfortable here, right? Anywho, so just getting into our practice, again, just coming into a position that feels appropriate for you as we start deepening this relationship with Medicine Buddha, Minla Sangye. And again, reflecting on your intentions for practice. Why are you practicing? And we're practicing to get free, right? To get free from what? To get free from suffering, to get free from dualism, to get free from this intense belief and worship of the realness of the phenomenal world. We're getting free from our apathy. We're getting free from our misunderstandings. We're getting free from the woundedness of conditional love. We're getting free from who we think we are. And we're trying to remember what we are. That we're already free. We just forgot that. So when you finally decide that you're practicing right now to get free, and just letting that aspiration just like blossom in your mind and even in your body. Surrender to this intention, this aspiration to get free. Just give up. Just give up and get free. choose this freedom, choose it. Maybe for the first time, just say, this is what I'm doing. I'm getting free, not just for myself, but for everyone and everything. Then noticing the seat under you, the weight of your body, meeting the seat. And letting the seat take care of you as it rises to hold you. And of course, as we shift our attention even lower, we begin to touch the earth, acknowledging the consciousness of the land that we're practicing and living on. Inviting the element of earth into your practice, remembering the earth, remembering that the earth is the foundation, is the stability, and in practice is the structure, the stability, the density of our bodies. Acknowledging how the elements, the consciousness of the land and the earth is really holding us and supporting us in this work of getting free. And as some of you are touching into this experience of fatigue, right, exhaustion, I invite you to imagine that this energy of the earth, this element of earth energy, that it is actually, it's rising to catch you, right? So feeling exhausted, you want to feel supported, you want to rest on something, and let the earth be what you rest on. Right? So even further, like as you're connecting to this exhaustion, and at the same time feeling the energy of the earth just lifting up to even hold this experience of exhaustion. And as you feel the holding from the earth, I encourage you to surrender even more to this holding by the earth. And when you're ready, I invite you to just shift your attention up to your heart center. And of course, you can, bring the palm of your hand up to your heart center to connect physically to the heart center. And as we're focusing on the heart center, we also turn our attention to our first mantra, which will be in the chat box, Om Namah Sangye Kino Soha, which is an invitation, mantra to evoke or awaken the consciousness of Medicine Buddha. So, of course, we'll chant this 3 times together, beginning with an an elongated and then ending the 3 chants with another elongated As we're chanting, just really encourage you to really imagine that Medicine Buddha is really beginning to awaken right within your heart center. And noticing how that feels if you are connecting to any kind of somatic experience. What does it feel like for Medicine Buddha to awaken within our heart centers? So we begin with Om. Om. Om La Sangye Kino So Om La Sangye Kino So Om La Sangye Kino So Om. So slowly we can imagine this awakening of Medicine Buddha right in our heart centers. Imagining Medicine Buddha appearing right in the heart center, this translucent, traditional representation of Medicine Buddha. There's just maybe either feeling the presence of Medicine Buddha or just even having a belief or a conviction that Medicine Buddha is indeed appearing, awakening within your heart. And for a moment, I invite you to reflect on the suffering of the world, of people and communities. Maybe the suffering and the struggle for yourself and your personal communities or the people in your lives, your beloveds, and so forth. Just reflecting on countless beings' struggle to get free from suffering and violence and harm. And in this reflection, awakening this deep compassion, and this deep compassion meaning that having seen, reflected, experienced suffering, that you want all beings, all things, to be free from the suffering. No matter who these beings are, no matter what these beings have done, may they be perpetrators or victims, the oppressed or the oppressor. May all beings be free from suffering. May all beings be free from illness and disease. May all beings be free from hunger and loneliness. May all beings be free from trauma and even apathy. May all beings be embodied and healed and whole. May all beings be loved and cared for. May all beings be safe. Feeling these aspirations, these wishes, really beginning to awaken for you in your practice. And as our compassion deepens, we also begin to imagine that Medicine Buddha in our heart center actually begins to grow, to get bigger. And that slowly Medicine Buddha begins to actually expand out of our heart centers, out of our bodies. Until we are being held within the translucent heart of Medicine Buddha. As Medicine Buddha awakened in our heart, now we ourselves are awakening within the heart of Medicine Buddha. We can imagine even further that Medicine Buddha begins to grow even more and more until this whole world is being held within the heart of Medicine Buddha. And that all the suffering, the struggle, the pain, the violence that we were just reflecting on begins to be pacified within the heart of Medicine Buddha. That people are, and all beings, are beginning to experience safety and happiness and healing. All beings have what they need to be well and cared for. Everything is being held by the consciousness of Medicine Buddha in this moment, including ourselves. And allowing ourselves to rest within the heart of Medicine Buddha, like everything in this moment is resting within the heart of Medicine Buddha. We turn our attention to our mantra. The main mantra of Medicine Buddha, Teata, Baconze, Maha Baconze, Rasa, Sumogate Soha. And like this, I pray for the end of pain and suffering and the root of pain and suffering. And I release the energy of this prayer out to all the world so that we all may be liberated. As we begin our mantra practice, just allowing ourselves again to rest within this translucent body or expression of Medicine Buddha. Allowing ourselves to be cared for and held. Letting whatever needs to be let go, letting that just release out into the body of Medicine Buddha. So we begin. O Teata, Begenze, Ma Begenze, Rasusumungate Soa. Teanda, Begenze, Ma Begenze, Rasusumungate Soa. Te anda begenze, va begenze, razuzumu yazoa. Te anda begenze, va begenze, razuzumu yatesoa. Te anda begenze, ma begenze, raza sumugate zoa. Te anda begenze, ha begenze, raza sumugate zoa. Te anda begenze, ha begenze, raza sumugate soa. Te anda begenze, ha begenze, raza sumugate soa. Te anda begenze, ma 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 begenze, 소아 대한다 온백은세 백은세 아백은세 라서 수문가테 소아 대하다 온백은세 백은세 마백은세 라서 수문가테 소아 대한다 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 온백은세 백은세 마백은세 라서 수문가테 소아. And just turning attention to our prayers as we lift these prayers up, we call into our space all the sources of refuge, all our benefactors, all the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, Yidams, Dharma protectors, all beings of light, all the protectors of the land and the elements, as well as all of our benevolent ancestors as well. We call in all the teachers and guides of all authentic liberatory lineages. We call all these beings into this space, and we offer these prayers to you to begin to work on our behalf to bring about the fruition of these prayers. We're offering prayers for having an open and loving heart on my birthday. Offering prayers for our dear son, Lucas Santos Paye, who is only 21 in urgent need of a kidney transplant. May our family remain steady and supported as we navigate this challenge. Offering prayers for Connie's healing from a spinal cord injury after graduating from college, and all his loved ones and family to be there for him. Prayers for my back and sciatic pain to lessen. Prayers for all those fighting against colonialism. Offering prayers for my daughter and me to have a healthy birth. She's due in 1 week. Prayers for all the children born in Gaza. May they be healthy and free. Offering prayers for our dear sister, dear one, and her son as they navigate some rough waters. May they be held in infinite light and love to healing waters and steady ground. Offering prayers for my students impacted by campus protests in so many different profound ways. Offering prayers for me as I navigate feelings of helplessness and suicide. I struggle to hold the pain and don't feel that I can. Offering prayers for myself that I'm able to create and maintain a mindset and boundaries conducive to liberation for myself and others. Offering prayers that those tending to mother wounds experience joy and love while facing the difficulties of embarking on healing. May they do no harm in the process. May they heal rather than externalize their contempt. May all women in films be safe from the dark force of patriarchal rage. Offering prayers to all men and male-identified folks choose love over power. May they choose to be free. Offering prayers that find support in seeking joy and play after several seasons of grueling spiritual labor. Offering prayers for Representative Jasmine Crockett and Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez. May they enjoy ease and comfort. May they be effectively defended from vile attacks from hostile, damaged people. May their emotional well-being and physical safety be protected. Offering prayers for my ongoing cancer treatment. Prayers for my brother Michael and for my friend Richard. May they experience healing and freedom. Offering prayers for myself and my dear friend as we navigate a new way of friendship. This new way brings us kindness and love. Offering prayers that my husband can experience more ease, prayers that my pain level can change, or that I can live with it with more ease. Offering prayers for all those living with helplessness and depletion in their experience. Offering prayers for everyone experiencing oppression and violence, grief, heartbreak, and healing. May we overcome delusions of supremacy and separateness and recognize that we are all connected and that we are already free. Offering prayers for myself and my children, may we be well and happy. Offering prayers for Linda and Michael. Offering prayers for clarity as I contemplate whether to make a shift at work. Offering prayers that my mom experiences peace and knows she's loved and cared for. Offering prayers that I'm able to be with all that arises. Offering prayers for my sweet furry companion Rigby as he seeks to recover from many medical conditions. Offering prayers for my partner that she may continue her healing work, and for me that I may let go of trying to heal her. Offering prayers for clarity in the world of noise and disruption. May I not disconnect myself from myself. Offering prayers for all in the Sangha in need of support, love, healing, and strength. May you and your beloveds all have what they need to be well, even amidst all the chaos, hardship, and pain. Prayers for all in my life to experience healing, ease, and peace. Prayers for my former client who just had a transplant. Prayers for Penny who's preparing to meet Christ and her late husband. Prayers for the people of Palestine all over the world. Prayers for Black African communities that are under attack, that are being dispersed or dismantled or distracted. Offering prayers for J and K for each of them to find support and blessings in their authentic selves as their relationships ends, transforms. Prayers for all the brokenhearted. Offering prayers for my creativity and that of our community. May we be courageous and flexible in our craft and truthfulness. Offering prayers for Paul Mitchell, my uncle, a mad scientist and abolitionist who has transitioned. Prayers for Dave, my father, who has recently moved into assisted care. Prayers for all of us that we may live creatively so that we reveal what hasn't been healed, and liberated. Offering prayers that we may have the courage to compose structures of dominance and embody loving and liberatory alternatives. Offering prayers to my sister's mother who is aging and going through many health challenges. Prayer for my sister Terry to take care of her and help her find the care she needs, and for her to be supported through this process. Offering prayers that I can release the absolute terror that I recently witnessed in myself while revisiting an experience I had when I was 4, and a different experience at 13, and also a clear view of the terror of what I experienced in a recent past life. All this is connected to the violence occurring in the world now. May I release this into the deep transformative center of the earth, know that it occurred but is no longer occurring. May I be free to move forward in the world in a less encumbered way in order to be of most use to the whole. May I know that I am not alone in all of this. Prayers for my dear friend Darla's heart and heartbreak, that I learn to be with my own heartbreak, and that Nia finds grounding and home. Prayers for all beings, that we may be healthy, happy, and free, that all beings find the courage to lean into heartbreak and into the beyond. Offering prayers for Kunal and her family, wife, and kids. May she fully recover from tongue cancer as soon as possible and live a long, fabulous, magnificent, long, well-lived life. Offering prayers for the wound of separation from colonial and imperial forces. May we collectively and individually remember our connection. May we hold space for the heartbreak and allow for the care we need. May we remember we are free. Offering prayers to anyone suffering from childhood neglect and abuse. Offering prayers for myself as I undergo dental surgery. Offering prayers for my beloved wife and children as they navigate anxiety, depression, and eating disorder. Prayers for my beloved brother and his wife as she faces the end of this lifetime. Prayers for all the brokenhearted among us here in the Sangha, my loved ones, and around the world. May we all find freedom. Offering prayers to bless my ability to teach and gather and support those I am destined to serve. I'm offering prayers for Daniel, that all the legal issues and struggles around him are resolved, and that he is able to get what he most deeply needs from the process. We always continue to pray for the complete abolition of all systems and institutions that create the harm and violence that many of us are struggling to overcome. And may we all remember as quickly as possible our innate awaken to nature, that we get free sooner than later. And may it be so. We offer these prayers again to our sources of refuge, and we pray that you work on our behalf to bring about the fruition of what we most deeply desire. As we turn back into our mantra practice, I just encourage us to really trust the blessings of Medicine Buddha, the blessings of all of our sources of refuge, all of our benefactors, to take care of us and to take care of those that we are so praying to be well and safe and happy. As we turn back into the mantra, just also surrender to the blessings and the holding of Medicine Buddha as fully as possible. Okay. We begin again. Oh, te andam begenze, begenze, ma begenze, rasa sumungate soa. Te andam begenze, begenze, ma begenze, rasa sumungate soa. Te andam begenze, begenze, ma begenze, rasa sumungate soa. Te andam begenze, begenze. soa. Te anda begenze, begenze, ma begenze, raza sumugate soa. Te anda begenze, begenze, ma begenze, raza sumugate soa. Te anda begenze, begenze, ma begenze, raza sumugate soa. Te anda begenze, begenze, ma begenze, raza sumugate soa. Te anda begenze, begenze, ma begenze, raza sumugate soa. Te anda begenze, begenze, ma begenze, raza sumugate soa. Te anda begenze, begenze, ma begenze, raza sumugate soa. Te anda begenze, begenze, ma begenze, raza sumugate soa. Te anda begenze, begenze, ma begenze, raza sumugate soa. Te anda begenze, begenze, ma begenze, raza sumugate soa. Te anda begenze, begenze, ma begenze, raza sumugate soa. Te anda begenze, begenze, ma begenze, raza sumugate soa. Te anda begenze, begenze, ma begenze, raza sumugate soa. Te anda begenze, begenze, ma begenze, raza sumugate soa. Te anda begenze, begenze, ma begenze, raza sumugate soa. Te anda begenze, begenze, ma begenze, raza sumugate soa. Te anda begenze, begenze, ma begenze, raza sumugate soa. Te anda begenze, begenze, ma begenze, raza sumugate soa. Te anda begenze, begenze, ma begenze, raza sumugate soa. Te anda begenze, begenze, ma begenze, raza sumugate soa. Te anda begenze, begenze, ma begenze, raza sumugate soa. Te anda begenze, begenze, ma begenze, raza sumugate soa. Te anda begenze, begenze, ma begenze, raza sumugate soa. Te anda begenze, begenze, ma begenze, raza sumugate soa. Te anda begenze, begenze, ma begenze, raza sumugate soa. And just turning our attention back into this expanded body of Medicine Buddha holding everything inside of Medicine Buddha. We connect finally, once again, to this feeling or experience of being protected by Medicine Buddha, being held within the Medicine Buddha's heart, feeling whatever it is that you're feeling in terms of this protection. But at least believing, knowing that as we transition out of practice, we are deeply held by the care of Medicine Buddha. And so when you're ready, shifting your attention back to the seat. And again, connecting to the weight of your body and the seat rising to hold you. And then slowly beginning to offer some movement back into your body. Gently beginning to awaken the body once again. And slowly we'll turn our attention to Shanti Deva's prayer, which you'll find in the chat box right there. And we'll recite this 3 times. May I be a protector to those without protection, a leader for those who journey, and a boat, a bridge, a passage for those desiring the further shore. May the pain of every living creature be completely cleared away. May I be the doctor and the medicine, and may I be the nurse for all sick beings in the world until everyone is healed. Just like space and the great elements such as earth, may I always support the life of all the boundless creatures. And until they pass away from pain, may I also be the source of life for all the realms of varied beings that reach unto the ends of space. May I be a protector to those without protection, a leader for those who journey, and a boat, a bridge, a passage for those desiring the further shore. May the pain of every living creature be completely cleared away. May I be the doctor and the medicine, and may I be the nurse for all sick beings in the world until everyone is healed. Just like space and the great elements such as the earth, may I always support the life of all the boundless creatures, and until they pass away from pain, may I also be the source of life for all the realms of varied beings that reach into the ends of space. And finally, may I be a protector to those without protection, a leader for those who journey, and a boat, a bridge, a passage for those desiring the further shore. May the pain of every living creature be completely cleared away. May I be the doctor and the medicine, and may I be the nurse for all sick beings in the world until everyone is healed. Just like space and the great elements such as earth, I always support the life of all the boundless creatures, and until they pass away from pain, may I also be the source of life for all the realms of varied beings that reach unto the ends of space. Okay. All right. All right. Well, thank you everyone for your practice. Yeah. We offered a lot of heavy prayers, and I see some resources being posted in the chat. So, you know, please use these resources, and reach out to whomever you need to reach out to. As always, we have to gather our people. Gather your people, your beloveds, your community around you. This is a time of mutual care, mutual aid. Like we have to remember that liberation is also through community as well. It's through community, through people. So ask for the help that you need right now, which is incredibly important. And also rely on, on this practice as well. Like, please rely on this practice, and to trust it, and to let this practice, let Medicine Buddha actually guide you to further resources as well, to further deeper modalities and of healing, and further resources to help deepen healing, as well. Um, yeah. I think that's it for me.